Hello, it's KRBrickBot, and now I'm getting to the second wave of Tobot 2023 because that was a low-key priority. I didn't need to feel the need to immediately import to the United States because, one, these are new Tobot characters, not just returning old characters like the first season, and they also do something quite differently from usual Tobots. Presenting the all-new Tobot characters, the Tobot Rescue Team, Tobot Ssen, and Tobot Doc. Gonna be reviewing both of these at the same time because they're pretty similar. They both have an additional tanker trailer bot. In addition to the main characters in these closed boxes, there's Doc, Ssen, and Boom. Cross-sell. Pretty similar back here. These two combine with Boom to form SOS. 4 modes here. Yep, there's a Tobot Ssen. Auto transformation. The Just Revolver. A target practice board. The Just Shield, a Tankerbot, and Ssen. And then for Tobot Doc, it's similar content, except he has a emergency box, a helmet, a rescue wing, another Tankerbot. And then, yeah, disclaimer that content may vary from the illustrations. Nice blues and greens on these pretty large and thin boxes. Right there, Ssen and Doc. Unboxing the plastic tray. That is a long plastic tray with the Tankerbot off sideways. And off to the side is the very long target practice box. Speaking of which, this is an interesting box. This could be a very long display stand, but this is supposed to be a target stand with the number of the villains. This just in, the dub names. Boss Car is pretty much straightforward. Engine Back is Eugene, and Joe Ballet is Valerie. And one of the robots. Get your finger here, punch them out, and then set them up, which would be a bit of a fun thing to do if the toy actually had any shooting gimmicks. This is just a typical accessory. There's no little launcher accessory, not even a rubber band gun, so I feel like this is kind of pointless. Unless you want to throw things at it, which are going to damage the box. Hey, at least it has bullet holes. Right after licensed 10 days, we're back to unlicensed, just fictional cars. Although more realistic, more of a sporty type of police car. Maybe it resembles a Nissan. Yeah, but it's a pretty generic police with a not distinctly Korean because it's except for the blue, but this is a darker blue. And yeah, there are some yellow headlights here, although these little indent areas are actually the headlights, but there's nothing to break that up. In this case, would have liked some stickers to actually indicate those. As with the front here, that's a white paint on black, which doesn't quite color match well with the rest. As with this blank symbol here, this blank spot here, that would be a good spot for the Tobot logo. Otherwise, there's pretty nice painted sirens, although those are left pretty blank for the clip-on. And a obvious connector joint. Pretty bare in the back, although it has a nice detailings like the little tail lights, exhausts. And you notice a much bigger proportion of tiny wheels and gigantic back wheels, more like a drag racer type of car. Even more so than the main Tobot's just slightly bigger back wheels. I don't know if this makes it cuter because these are normal proportion cars, just with big wheels, while these are squish cars, so that's an interesting style choice, although that probably in real life just make it hard to rotate the tires and find replacements. But this is only half the set. The other half is this trailer. This more hard military type tank trailer, the futuristic type. Just some sort of transport platform, I assume. Ew, I can't believe Young Toys is following Hasbro, diluting the leader class price point, no longer making it the best, biggest possible toy, but just Voyager Plus. 2 seats. Big ugly combiner section in here. the treads and a little exhaust in the back, the little axe port. And some obvious connectors for weapon storage. Yeah, so this thing can function as just a weapon transport. A more realistic way of explaining where the big weapons go when not in use, and then ready to deploy. Okay, you know, I can give the materializing Tobot weapons and reformatting combined out of thin air, I can give that a pass because everything else sticks to the realism. Yeah, so just flip out this red thing, and then... Oh yeah, you do flip this out, and then click that shield back on. No, wait, the other way around. No, wait, just right in the slot of the shield here. Yeah, so you have a police car with a big trailer in the back. Kinda slows down this speedy sports car. Maybe these side panels seem superfluous, covering up the windows, and the back section is a bit hollow for transformation, but otherwise this is just a thing that exists. It's a fine little rolly thing on its own. It might feel a little silly for a police car to have a big cumbersome trailer in the back, but it is a nice long rolly thing, and it does keep everything all together, all connected. It is noticeably smaller than most Tobots, a little too small for typical medium-sized cars, but a little too big for more deluxe-sized cars. But it kind of fits in an odd scale of 130-ish, 129. This works. For the Tobot transformation, you see this button here? That's the auto transformation. The thing having its way built on, it just flips down the shoulders and the side of the shoulders slip out. Yeah, at least those are loose frictiony. And then manually ratchet down those legs and double hinge those legs and flip out the little tiny little heel spurs in the back. Or down, I think, yeah, just to get them level with the base. Super simple transformation. Yeah, much to our chagrin, this is a auto-transforming toy. A half-auto-transforming toy. Which means sacrificing articulation. In this toy's case, it's really just only the outward shoulders and the arms, which have no elbows or biceps. But otherwise, it's all manually articulating the legs, like friction forward, friction back, out, ratcheted knee, and then the soft lock double transformational knee. No head though. On the one hand, it might be a relief that the auto transformation doesn't take up the entire toy, so it can only really do an auto transforming. But on the other hand, you might complain that this only does it half of it. It only commits halfway, so you're just kind of stuck with a compromised figure. It's not posable, it's not the best posable, it's just... Why you need to sacrifice that for just one simple reveal the shield gimmick thingy? Yeah, so I guess it's just a new thing Young Toys is trying, just to also consider play as well as posability for the kiddies. And we can't complain about the feet or lack of thereof. That's just the bottom of the car. And the Combiner War style port just sticking right out in front of there. That is not elegantly hidden as far as best as Combiner War combiners did. And also those tiny little heel spurs don't exactly hold up too well if you kind of fold it back. But that aside, let's take a look at the design of the new police Tobot, the second police Tobot. Pretty nice dark blues here. Although, it looks like there's only dark blue in the torso and the head when I noticed on the show model. Guess they don't have the budget to make that dark blue plastic, or the bumpers take priority. The rest of it's nicely painted, although there is a lighter shade of blue on this shin than the other. That's a bit of a paint discrepancy with dark blue paint, I noticed. It's a pretty nice head. Yeah, just you know, the officer brim cap style. Black visor. little faceplate there. And on the shoulder is a painted badge, which, if we can read the numbers here, 6035. That's very tiny lettering. Even has a comm radio in the other shoulder, complete with the coiled wire. I think that was also painted up in the show, so it's hard to see here. And on the torso, it's a pretty simple police, like red, blue torso, and a little belt here. And he has revolvers right on his crotch. He has revolvers for a crotch. And his chest does have a central gimmick. This is a soft locking ratchet and rotating thing, so you can change from police to some stethograph symbols. So this is supposed to be a lie detector gimmick. I guess he holds someone and lie detects either like a big old axe or a circle. That's a nice unintrusive gimmick, unlike the intrusive spring-loaded shoulders. Or he could be playing tic-tac-toe. To armor him up, here is the Justice Shield with a revolver in the back. Yeah, that goes right in the hands. It's a pretty round port. Yeah, so he can at least point it forward. There's a... kind of reminds you of those K-Cops standard issue revolvers. But the shield itself, it has nowhere to go, unfortunately. Massive oversight, they didn't give this a little clip or something, so you could actually hold the shield in the standard robot mode and not just the combined mode, because that's essentially what the shield is for in this state. Seriously. Although that is an interesting, molding of the letters here, and some big siren lights, and the printed pattern diagonally. Yeah, but it's just a slab right now. That, in this mode, can really only go onto the trailer bot for the Tankerbot transformation. Yeah, I guess split arms out, turn this 180, and then also waist swivel, and then also hinge those down. Yeah, so that it folds like this, and then panel down, arms down, and you have a little Tankerbot. And then the shield just clips in the back, upside down. This is a pretty new concept for Tobot, having a support drone. It's a more a machine type of robot with tread wheels. And a very android face, just a plain old square with LED eyes. Kinda looks like a buff robot from WALL-E. Yeah, it just rolls pretty well. It actually has a bit more articulation, like in the soft ratchet waist, the up and down, kind of knees, and then ball socket shoulders that outward that much, and a little bit of knee bend, elbow bend, double elbow bend. Bit of a shelf rack going on there, kind of obstructs the tiny little head. I don't know if that's tragic if the support figure is more posable than the main figure. Yeah, so you have two little figures, and depending on which, you might either like this little guy more than the main character lead. That's a police. Also, Tobot Ssen gets some 4mm hands, while the Tankerbot also has handholds that are 5-point Lego compatible hands. Yeah, that's a weird system to go with. According to an interview, despite these Tankerbots not having mind cores, the literal heart and spark of Tobots, that when you just don't, you're just kind of missing the point of Tobot, taking away something if you just don't have any mind cores at all. They are still considered Tobots because they're just basically an extension of the main bots. I guess a neural link. So they just instinctively know when they need to rush to the rescue to give them their equipment and such. Kinda like Optimus Prime's roller, I guess. Unboxing Tobot Doc. Okay, that's one that takes you up the entire box because that needed space for the first aid kit. The instructions and the 2 accessories on the side. This is an interesting first aid kit box. There's the logo right here. Rescue Team Dispatch. Yeah, this kind of looks like a house with this kind of looks like a window, but it does very kitty details. I suppose you could just use this to store one Tobot Doc in here. That the button's kind of bulged though. Or one Tobot Tankerbot. Okay, this one's a little too long, eh? This way. Or just the SOS chest plate thing. You know, fire, police, and medical rescue are the three staples of most Korean kids franchises. But it's surprising that it took 13 years and the sequel series to get our first ambulance Tobot. I said ambulance Tobot, not Tobot ambulance, not a drone that's just arms for a super Tobo! Exclamation! Oh yeah, Tobot Doc has a verbal tick where he says the punctuation at the end of every sentence. Period. I'm not going to be doing that for the rest of the review. Yeah, this is a very fictitious ambulance because it's a very square and boxy type of ambulance with a very narrow window and a very tall roof. And those disproportionate back tires, those are very much big. For drag racing, I guess. Otherwise, it has a nice raised painted cross here, the siren lights. What is obviously a double rounded hinge right on the front here, but at least it's attempted to be decorated with the headlights here. But these inevitable hinges sure don't look intentional. And a little symbol where a good Tobot symbol would go. An unpainted cross in the middle here. Some nice skid plating on the top of the roof, the hood. I don't know what kind of bumper this is supposed to be. And not much going in the back here, but just what you typically expect for a combining robot, but at least its combining part is hidden better. Yeah, so that's an ambulance. That's an ambulance, alright. Doc's trailer bot is just exactly identical to the Ssen trailer bot. Only differentiated with the tiny little red strip of the head on right in front of there. That's blue here, so that blends in more with Ssen. Otherwise, yeah, just mostly identical trailers, so that's why I kind of lumped them together. But Doc's trailer carries this chest plate and helmet, which kind of slides together here and then connects in the same port here, so... This trailer is looking a little wingy. And then, yeah, of course, you have to, remove the combiner part first, and in order to get that connected to the ambulance. Yeah, I guess you have to kind of remove that bit. At least with an ambulance, it kind of makes more sense for this type of van truck to carry along a trailer of X supplies. Whatever these supplies are supposed to be. For medical equipment. For the half auto transformation of just pressing this big old button, like the medical symbol button here. Drop down the arms and the backpack, and then the other half just manually clip down those legs and the tiny little feet. And then the arms from the back of the cab, which is kind of clashy in the way. Then fist out. At least you have a little catching tab here for your finger. There's your little Tobot Doc. I think I like the look of Doc more than Ssen. Well, I guess he's a bit of a more rough type, and I guess also maybe interesting when not much of the front of the ambulance or any car in general just shows in front of the robot mode. For the auto transformation, actually, I think this, spring-loaded backpack's a pretty cool idea. If the gimmick was relegated to just a backpack, then that would be a fine addition for auto transformation, but that also goes in the arms. That auto transformation is also for the arms, so you get super loose friction shoulders, not spring-loaded, and then these actual spring-loaded shoulders. So no forward at all, and then the arms go backward for only for transformation. Yeah, would have been helpful if that could go forward in transformation. No head, and otherwise a nice friction, forward, back, outward, no thigh, with a ratchet knee and double knee. Pretty much the same as Ssen, except he doesn't have forward shoulders. So that's a bit worse. There are some interesting details to be found on the medical Tobot. Yeah, unfortunately, the chest is looking pretty bare. Really would have benefited from the show-accurate white paint and black paint. Like white pouches on the chest. Those are pouches, as with right on the pelvic area here, and a cross crotch that's a bit of a bulgy. Okay, back to the shoulders. I guess there are these things that can be painted up, and then these are molded tools here. You can obviously see it as a walkie-talkie, and then this is supposed to be a flashlight with like a strap on it, but the strap hole is not molded in there, so you can't really make it out if you don't know what it is, but I think that's supposed to be a flashlight. Just stuck right on there. Yeah, the head's pretty nice. You know, the big cross-shaped face, that's pretty red. Big blue eyes in there, and looks like a little bit of a headlight right on top of his head. Headlamp. Even the backpack has some nice details, like these lightning hearts, and like a bit of a stethoscope wave pattern just etched throughout the whole thing on the back here. As with the inside of his legs. Then even his shins have little pouches on them. And then those skid plates, you know, they make sense as front of the arms when they were like the car hood. And then, you know, just combine a junk right in front of the little crosses here. Has fun medical themed detailings about him. Medical and rescue. And we have the little trailer bot, the Tankerbot, kind of looking like a buff Mo. That basically carries a wing pack thing that, not exactly sure how this will assist combat-wise. Just maybe just more for rescue assistance and then clearing out rubble. Yeah, but I guess this feels like it has less of a use for this than the, you know, Sen's Tankerbot. Yeah, but they're a pair. I can certainly say it is a direction Tobot took with their new second wave. Yeah, but I guess it's, you know, there's general complaints about, you know, being auto-transforming, not even committing to the auto-transformation, just half of it, so you have a only half-posable Tobot, two new characters that is not Tobot C. Where's Tobot C? Maybe I can sort of understand young toys wanting to try auto-transforming toys again, because these are pretty bombastic. Yeah, but these are half-tailpiping it. Just halfway. And I've heard accusations that the new rescue team is just like Tobot V, which I think is going a little too far. These are acceptable Retrobot Tobots. Yeah, but to introduce those spring-loaded gimmicks in new characters and their current big and only mainline representation is maybe a bit of a letdown. So you can have a case of where the smaller, cheaper mini version is going to be slightly more articulated than the bigger boys. And then, you know, have a trade-off of, you know, smaller size and less paint. And, you know, don't ask me if 2025 mainline China Tobot Shatsu will actually, you know, remake new versions of the Tobot Rescue Trio with budgeted removed spring gimmicks. Yeah, so naturally, this is just like a low priority recommendation. So yeah, of course that we released in the international toy line. Amazon Online will have Tobot P and Tobot M. P is for release. Was S already taken, or do they think just kids would not think Tobot S for send would just be a good marketing idea? So they just went with P. Ah, nah, the kids are gonna be making all sort of Tobot pee-pee jokes. And then M for medic. Yeah, maybe this makes a little more sense. You know, for like the 50 price point, they're doing a lot. They're being like a 2-in-1. 2 figures for the price of 1. And then they're also being, you know, smallish police and medical ambulance cars, which are always popular. And they're also being just half auto-transforming toys. So maybe that's a lot, depending on which you either prefer this was fully articulated or just fully auto-transforming. So even if they were just unposable bricks, they would have some sort of pizzazz to them. Like the main lead of the rescue trio. Yeah, of course, this big guy is coming soon. And then all of them together.